Generally, whenever I go into content, anything like this, I want to know not your ICP. For tours, you want to create it with the style of the ICP for the home. So it's not too much into it. If you focus 80% of your time on your hook, you can get them to stay till the end. And so they take the fundamentals and the hooks that they learn for someone they look up to that was a videographer for a $5 million home to then put that in a $500,000 home.
Right.
And so that doesn't necessarily match up. There's two things, curiosity and having an open loop. So curiosity would be it's not what you expect. It's technically actually an open loop. It's gonna stop, that's when you only get like 1, 2, 3 pieces of content. Like,
right.
I wanna get 7, like within an hour, Like that's the goal. All right, so we're here with my guy, Matthew. What's up, Matthew? How you doing?
How you doing?
Good.
What are you doing?
I've seen you for quite a few hours now.
Yeah.
So this is actually all of us three. We got Matthew's in our academy, Jeremiah from the Bay Area just joined as well. Say what's up, Pierre. Say hello.
Oh, hello.
No, we're at your listing right now. We're gonna have a second video of us actually showing you how to film my kind of classic style of video. But this is generally gonna be right here on the computer, like a strategy of what we wanna go into when we have a listing. Like you now have, like give them a breakdown of like what is this property? Like price, area, where we are.
Yeah, so right now we're in Blackhawk. Gated community, and this particular street, Deer Hollow, is almost another Blackhawk within Blackhawk. We are at the very end of this awesome street, way up higher than pretty much everybody else, and has, in my opinion, one of the absolute best views in the whole entire area. $6.5 million house, yep. Almost 7,000 square feet, one level, super unique property, beautiful, everything inside fully staged, and what is a dream listing for any agent, I think.
Yeah, 6.5, 6.5. Yeah. And it's one of those that generally is actually going to fetch that. It's not going to sell for 4,
Right, exactly.
It's not one of those. Generally, whenever I go into content, anything like this, I want to know not your ICP, but for tours, you want to create it with the style of the ICP for the home. Like let's say you were talking to military buyers.
Yeah.
You're not going to stand in front of this home and be like, hey, military buyers,
Right.
like
okay.
You actually want, the video is going to perform for the people that you want seeing it. Not fitting your ICP into the home, but trying to find the ICP for the home.
Okay.
And so luckily, you've already kind of been able to get some of this information. So if we go into it right here, I wanted to document, okay, so similar answers right here. I wanted to show you, we're not going to like give names or anything, but like what are like jobs and industries, because you've shown 3, 4, 5 people so far for this home. What kind of job industries are they in that you're actually seeing them actually come in and qualify to be shown a $6.5 million property?
It's tech, whether they are someone who is in the entrepreneurial space within tech where they've created some sort of company.
Yeah.
Someone who is an engineer within tech, so maybe they're someone who is able to, whether it's software or certain products, whether they be like specialized robot, drone, those types of things, but it all revolves around the tech world, whether they're creating something or, a business or product.
And so what are the things that these people are actually like attracted to when they see this home?
Single level is a big one.
Right, this is a single level, yeah.
And that it's interesting because it's regardless of age, but that's a huge one. And also uniqueness. So once they own the home, they also want to know, do they have something special? Something another home doesn't have.
Yeah.
Because, you can go a city over and save a couple $1 million. For
sure.
But you also might have a house that looks just like everybody else. Yeah. And some people tend to care about that when you're spending that kind of money.
Yeah.
The other part is privacy, discretion, and a big one is the ability to change the property. As beautiful as this property is, there's no perfect property that exists. So there's going to be something. So I've had people ask about this whole beautiful front lawn area. Yeah. Can we change it to a basketball court? I've had other people want to add a complete other building that would be a gym, its own freestanding gym outside of the house. So the ability to change stuff, and they have the means to do so.
Exactly.
Which is interesting. It's different.
So what are the things that they're mainly attracted to? Like if you remember someone from tech, like I think, like down here in like job industry, tech, age, like what have been age ranges? Like I know you said you've seen like some, what we call young money here.
Yeah.
But then also older, which is traditionally this area.
I would say average right now is somewhere probably mid 40s to early 50s is the average.
Okay.
Because we have people on both sides, but then we kind of have that.
Yeah.
So there's been some of the young money, but there's also far more people who are still on the younger side, but established.
Okay. Okay. And so you've also said they're like, because then we have Google, I think you said SpaceX, possibly someone that
Google, SpaceX,
all these AI
companies.
companies.
Yeah.
That's the kind of people that are coming in here. So they're like single level privacy, but what about this home like in specific do they tend to like?
You know, I would say that it is bigger than an average home, not just the actual square footage, but where the square footage is. So wider hallways, grander dining room, wider kitchen. They like the idea that there's more space to live in, not just an extra room, if that makes sense.
And what about like specific feature wise?
View. Definitely view.
Front yard, backyard.
Here, there's a view everywhere. So yeah, that backyard view is good for, they like entertaining and all that type of stuff. So that's been a huge one from the get-go.
So some of these things we may not be able to fully go into. We already kind of did job industry, family situations. So are you noticing, for vague, is that family, do they want to bring their family in here? Are they single? Is it in just an older couple? Like what does it end up averaging at?
Yeah, a lot of families with younger kids for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
With younger kids, is that like middle school, high school, or is that even younger?
Younger than that. Yeah, probably more like elementary school and some even younger than that, but average there. And that's where a lot of these families are looking is good school districts. They'll hop over somewhere else to come here because it's a great school district.
Yeah, that's one thing that we found overall in like especially like home tour hooks, text hooks.
Yeah.
Especially out here, and we've seen it in North Carolina as well, and using schools A rated, even some of that. I made a text hook for one of our guys, Garrison, recently, where he was in Austin, Texas. But I tried to look up the rating of the schools that were nearby, and they're all like 5 and 6s. And I'm like, okay, we're just gonna use, because it's still desirable. It's just not at like the level is desirable. They want to know that there are schools there.
Yeah.
But it's not because it's like an 8, 9, 10 out of 10 rated school.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, now we can just use middle and high schools nearby. It's like type of deal. Are most of these people thinking of like staying? Like, are they traveling a lot? Is this going to be a home where they stay at, or is it like I don't know? They're going to be here for like half the year.
Definitely primary home they're going to stay in, live in. I think part of that anchor comes from the family, and you can hear that when they're actually asking some of those questions. It's going to be daily life for a long time. So part of it's the environment. They want to be rooted here in the area. It's also a big chunk of money to spend.
Yeah.
But there are people, neighbors and other people nearby that buy a house and they're only there for 6 months, out of the year. It's pretty wild.
So I guess what is like the biggest objection to this property in specific?
I think the biggest objection one is insurance cost. Fire insurance is hard. That's one thing. The other, I think in general right now is going to be, even though they may have the money for the price, is they're still really wanting to make sure that every dollar gets something, even at that range. There's a reason why people with money stay having money is because they do pay it. They're not just throwing it around. So with that, we have a very unique space. Yeah. If you try to do a price per square foot, which some of the agents have, you might come up slightly short. And when you do that, you completely miss the uniqueness of the property. So that was one of the first objections. Like, wait, are we a little bit off on the price? And then they actually see the other houses and realize the uniqueness of the lot is something you can't compare. And then that's when they've come back and gone, oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
Right. So the only main true one has been just like insurance. Because like we're in a big private area.
Yeah.
HOAs, all these other things. You obviously get the benefit, some of the amenities for it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like you said, I think someone maybe got quoted 6 figures for fire insurance, and
they certainly did. So that's actually right now we are currently waiting on a couple offers, but they're waiting on insurance quotes because that hinges, and that's a big one in California right now.
Yeah, it's massive. Okay, so this is some of the styles that I put right here. Now there's some actual like templated hooks that we can use. So there's going to be a mixture of, when I was looking at content, like kind of sourcing it about this property, I didn't do the craziest in-depth research. When I was talking to Jeremiah on the way here, is a lot of times videographers, like in the past, they'll they don't know actually how to make a video that does well. They basically just copy from like people who are making the $10 million listing videos, the disappearing agent transitions, the 3D text, all the type of ones. And so they take the fundamentals and the hooks that they learn for someone they look up to that was a videographer for a $5 million home, to then put that in a $500,000 home.
Right.
And so that doesn't necessarily match up. So anything that I'm looking at in here overall is going to be like bare minimum 1 million, like luxury end property. Like you can get away with almost more, in a way, not entertainment, but different styles. It's not like a traditional home tour. You can get away with a lot more because you have the house. Because unfortunately, it's a real thing. Like videos will perform better based off of the house.
Totally.
At the end of the day. So the first one is just sort of a verbal hook tour. And so if we open this one up here, all right. So this one was taken from a $24 million property where a lot of these were, I'm going to show you guys like the filming aspect of it. I'm still going to be in that document of the mindset of document over create, because I just want to know the minimums. Because like from now on, we only have maybe another hour and a half, 2 hours here. But this might be all the content you get for the home, like a majority. So my goal is to create as much content as possible, have it not be like, okay, how are we going to strategize this, get this massive, like we want our angles, everything to look good, obviously. But like when you're, going in such on the micro little things, it's going to stop. That's when you only get like 1, 2, 3 pieces of content. Like I want to get 7, like within an hour, like that's the goal. So overall, I'm looking at this hook.
This is a $24 million house in Southern California, and I'm gonna give you the full tour.
So it basically just starts off like this, but when you look at the text hook in specific, if we go to the very beginning, it's framed up, so you basically have symmetry. So the subject is pretty much in the middle, but it's gonna be the visual was what I'm looking at first. It's like, wait, is this a door? Like, is this like what are we looking at here? Like, it's not just saying 24 million, it's not what he's saying, but it's like, wait, what is this whole, I don't know, what would this be, like a whole vertical line in the middle of this entryway? Like the visual itself is already catching. So you don't want to steal this, but like, okay, you would take this format for the crazy thing about the property, and then you would go into it. And you can obviously, the text hook was simple enough, like we already have a couple templates that we'll go off and rip off of. But generally the rest of the home is just showing the home at that point. So it's not too much into it. If you focus 80% of your time on your hook, you can get them to stay till the end. Like there's other things you can do to make sure, like go above and beyond, like open loops, closing loops. But generally, like that's why people stayed. And so then there's going to be a classic, which is a voiceover tour. This one I did grab from our guy Jaime, where he's in North Carolina, but it was a classic, his most proven one so far, where it was sort of in our area, this one style of home tour hook is like I just found, starting with that. This is based similar off that framework.
You've been looking to come home every single day to a private sanctuary close to everything. You're going to want to.
So it varies, again, then it goes into like our voiceover, and we obviously have like an AI prompt for the voiceover. We can do all that. That's why I want to spend time building these hooks, getting that, and then just wrapping around getting the footage that we need. Because if we were like making 60, 90-second speaking videos for all these, it's going to take forever. You're going to want to strategize it. It's going to take way too long. So like let's get footage, hooks, and then we can build the rest out. Like at our convenience, more or less. So more or less a lifestyle. I just found this is the property if verbal hook, lifestyle focus. Then there's going to be right here, which is an aesthetic tour. So a lot of these that we're going to put out to get more volume is not going to have speaking in it, but just to actually let like the home tour work itself. So here's a format that this lady in Spokane, Washington does, and she has some very unique styles of properties. So we're able to steal this like text hook framework itself, of having like, a year of the home, then finding like descriptive adjectives with like your city, state. Again, that's where we have like this list of, information that we can take care of based off of like literally the conversations you content itself. So it's literally just going to be an audio, price, but you'll notice in this, it's not wide shots. We're not doing the classic, hey, shoot 0.5, move throughout the whole home. This is actually just ×1. Like these aren't wide shots. This is just your ×1 normal basic iPhone. And we're using asymmetrical shots. So you'll see that your typically to make it look nice, how that first one did, the door was in the middle, everything was lined up nice.
Yeah.
You'll notice the easiest, simplest way to say like asymmetry shots is like if you have a dividing middle line, you're going to have almost more going on one half of the screen than the other, in a simple way of putting it. So you'll notice that there's going to be ones like this where she could have lined this window up in the middle of the screen, but it's still off. Like there's still like a dividing line in the middle to create this like asymmetry feel. And that's almost all the shots you're going to use is like, we're going to use this window, this plant, like instead of doing this massive window in front of us, it's going to be like maybe like shifted to the side a little bit. Like there's going to be asymmetry to make it still look, what I call this is just an aesthetic tour. Like she'll also have, as you can see, it's a little bit of, a filter on it to lower the exposure. And again, it's like, you could not line all these up perfectly, but there's asymmetry, which is keeping people like wanting to stay and see what's next. Because again, it also adds sort of a creative aspect, a pattern interrupt that they're not used to seeing. Because everyone wants to have a pleasing aesthetic, like a symmetrical tour, not an asymmetrical tour. So it's just ×1 focusing on all these little shots of the home. And luckily with all these, hypothetically, we could use this for content in the future. You could post it and even do another post, maybe even after it's sold. You could do it again if the process is still continuing and it hasn't sold yet. You can still reuse a ton of this footage. Trend hook tour. So this one's purely based off of a trend. So like purely trend focused. So this one's from March. And maybe you've heard this hook before.
You can buy this house for $2.5 million if your husband puts in 40.
There you go. So it's the classic where it is more on the entertainment style of it.
Yeah.
But if we're going to create a volume of content, that's the opportunity where you could use a tour like this. Like for us, like if you put down 500,000, you can get this home if your husband puts down 6 million.
Yeah.
Type of that, And then we go, obviously you can look into it. It's more of a like aesthetic. This is like a videographer tour, but a bunch of people have done like this style of tour where hypothetically we could, if we do a different tour, just you walking and talking throughout the whole home, or even if it is a speed ramp or just music behind it, we could that could be a whole video in and of itself, that original one. And we can just use this hook and then use that other piece of video as well. So as long as we have the footage and we just make these hooks, we can mix, match, that's how we get, 15 pieces of content out of this. Classic tour hook. This one is generally gonna be hey, this is what you get for X price.
This is what just over $1.9 million gets you outside Fort Worth, Texas. Let's check it out.
This one is gonna be like aesthetics. We're gonna obviously check, when you look at these videos, you wanna know the duration. A lot of times that matters. So if this duration is only maybe 30 seconds, you wanna basically repeat that. If they're getting away, it was literally 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Like what we've seen for most of these, you can do longer tours, they will perform. We've seen that, 3-minute tours, voiceovers, they've performed. But a lot of times videos nowadays, sub 45 seconds or even 30, you're just gonna get like the best result overall. So this one, we could create this hook. This is almost using like the footage from the aesthetic tour almost. It's maybe not the exact same, this is a 0.5 wide mode, but like it's almost the same footage you could use, throw in, mix it in. We could also use that same hook and then add it to the video of you walking throughout the home. Again, we can still just, as long as we have the hook, the footage. So this is basically, this is what you get. This one is gonna be, if we have the time for it, which is a ranking video, where I am actually showing Jeremiah's video here, where just because it is a little Bay Area focused, is because you have a nicer property, doesn't mean it has to be the value that you're providing in the format, doesn't have to be about the home. You sometimes can use it purely for aesthetics. Like just purely because you have a great view and you can create different education in a way that people want to watch. Because if you have, again, if Jeremiah made this video about the cities more local to this area, and he had this crazy view in the background, like imagine possibly how much that could have performed more than in this aspect. So this is where we have a text hook, we have a high TAM, so it's gonna be our total addressable market, which for us, basically like the widest terminology we want to use and feel comfortable with using to attract people to this video. So I'm not gonna say California, I'm not gonna say Contra Costa County, that's still a little niche. Bay Area for us, even East Bay, could still be too niche. Bay Area overall, people know these cities. So you can have this one where you are simply ranking these cities, what you truly think they are. You could do you could do neighborhoods, you could do parts of like there's so many versions that you can make about this and go counties, neighborhoods, I don't know, and any of those like more niche topics that you can use. But you can generally get your best result having a high TAM, total addressable market. And like for us would be, you know, backyard view. And it's, you know, I think I even had it in here below where there's a ranking style here. Like there's a few hooks that we can have right here. So it's like Lafayette versus Danville, like two like nearby areas. People love them for different reasons.
Yeah.
So then you would have that. Then you would have like the winner versus next popular city. All right, now this is where we want to get into the ICP, like by this third one. So like, let's say we did have Blackhawk, like kind of more neighborhood. Okay, we have, you know, Orinda versus Blackhawk. Because Blackhawk's not actually like a city, right? So it's still a part. So it's technically throwing it in. Maybe you do, you know, end up doing Danville, you know, something like that. But people in this area almost think of Blackhawk as a city in of itself. That's why we can kind of almost get away with that term.
For sure.
And let's say we wanted Blackhawk to win, like we wanted to attract more people to Blackhawk.
Yeah.
Then ultimately we do Blackhawk versus Alamo, a next popular city. And then we declare the winner for, you know, 1, 2, or 3 quick reasons, sub 30, 45-second video. So throughout here is where we'll have some of the hooks, where the verbal hooks. Some of these have 3 different ones we can use. And it's gonna be pretty short. These are all gonna be like 1, 2, max 3 liners. Like it's gonna be quick, it's gonna be short. So again, like this is what 6.5 million gets you in the Bay Area, and I'm gonna show you every single inch of it. So that's gonna be a tour that's gonna prompt someone to wanna stay because it's gonna be a longer video. Like whether you do a voiceover, whether it's just music. And so that's where we're actually using the price, the promise, the feel, rather than like more of a vague terminology. You know, I've had X people through this home. Each one stopped in this room, and I'm gonna show you which one and why. Now that one doesn't have to be, you know, a whole tour. We might just start that as more of a niche video where you actually start off with just the craziest room.
Yeah.
Do the kind of like that tier list. You start off in the craziest room where everyone's gonna wanna see it. And then you do like the next best. And then by the third one, like you're at, I don't know, for us it might be like their crazy bathroom that they have. It's like the crazy one people think of. So that's where you would wanna end on, like the ICP, like the true desire of that. This home has only been sold once in its entire history. Today is only the second time it's available. I'm gonna show you why people don't let this one go. So that's gonna be, again, still more of a feature focused where hypothetically, if that's all we filmed, you could do a voiceover for the rest and you just show the footage that we shoot. So you don't even have, that's why it's like if you go in here and we try to have you then verbally go over all these little rooms, it's gonna be good for some of these for sure, but as long as we have the hook, we can make the video if we have the shots. So voiceover tour, this one, again, it was, I just found the most private 1-level estate in Blackhawk, California, and it just hit the market for the second time ever. Now, maybe this isn't as like grand as saying, hey, it's $6.5 million listing, but that's why we have text hooks.
Yeah.
So we can still provide a certain amount of feel verbally and still get people hooked in with a massive price point with, you know, using text on the video. So it doesn't always have to be, again, still, you could say most $6.5 million homes in the Bay Area make you choose views, privacy, or space. This one does this one does not make you choose anything. Then we have like the aesthetic tour. So this one is like generally like, you know, shots of the pool, panoramic views, you know, gates opening, the kitchen, the primary suite, making sure you just get all of these shots. So generally, I think it's going to be, again, the aesthetic tours. We're going to go on just to get shots of the home itself. The trend tour hook, so just the single one. You can buy this home for $500,000 if your husband puts in $6 million. Classic, sweet, boom. Maybe it just goes into music right after that, and it's literally a 20-second tour, like super quick, because it's more of a trend.
Yeah.
People are going to like, they have this anticipation. They're not going to stay for 3 minutes. Classic price, this is what X gets you in the Bay Area. It's not what most people expect. Anything overall, when you have curiosity as a hook, is generally like the easiest way. There's 2 things, curiosity and having an open loop. So curiosity would be, it's not what you expect. It's technically actually an open loop because you're opening something, you're not answering, but you're creating a question that you won't answer until later. That's why like the classic Mr. Beast is, well, he used to do this. This is a 10 and a half, I just bought this $100 million island and wait till the end because we're gonna blow it up or something like that. You know, it's like the classic wait till the end is technically the basic version I think everyone's heard of an open loop. You're pretty much telling them what to expect, but you're not gonna show it to them yet. Obviously, curiosity. Curiosity also works in text hooks. And then at the end of the day, if we have it for a ranking video, sweet. Section 3, this is kind of just like a master checklist. So generally for what I know for any sort of, when you get shots of the front of the home, now yes, we can go in and get more aesthetic shots, but we need the basic fundamentals at minimum. So generally the front of this home, which obviously we're looking at, is like the front, if we say this is the front of the home is right here. I want the direct flat on view of the front. I want a side angle to show the basically the side of the home people can't see. Also show some depth. Like us, we might be able to catch some of the view on the side. I also want the same shot on the other side of the house. So just 3 main front shots. Okay. Same thing for the backyard. You want like a good, broad, symmetrical shot of the backyard as far back as you can get, and then go in the corner, get the other side view, the opposite corner, get the other side view. Because then we actually have documented in 3 shots the entire front and backyard. Now, anything else we get is sweet. So in my mind, going through this, there's different things we're gonna get. So like those front 3 angles, driveways, slow push-ins. We can use our phone, we could use a gimbal. Again, at the end of the day, it's not gonna be your walkthrough shots. We might use a gimbal, exterior photos. So again, for us, implementing story sequences, the omnipresent system, that's one thing that you can use here where, again, I want to get them for you, me, Jeremiah, is that a lot of times when we're posting stories in the way that we show defeating objections, sharing your values, me personally, I don't stay as consistent with them as like my fault because I don't have enough photos of myself. Like as a dude, I just genuinely don't. So it's like, I can't create them. And usually only the first one I want to have myself in. So it doesn't always need to be you. But if you don't have the photos, the content, same thing. If we don't at least have the footage, we can't create the video. But if we come in here and we think we're going to create 5 videos, master plan them, we only have time for 2 videos, and then when you look in editing, one of them doesn't work out, then you're left with 1 video, you know? So that's just screwing us at the end of the day. So overall, there's all like the kitchen views to get, features. Overall, it's going to be those front yard, backyard shots. I want to get a walkthrough of the home. I was considering having one with you in it and without you in it. Since we're here, I think it's good enough for you just to be in it, and then we just follow you throughout it, probably end in the backyard. And that's just like your good enough one as like even if you add a voiceover, you're not speaking, but it's just branded to you, you're there. You can add the voiceover. It helps branding even if you put it in a video that you aren't speaking in. So having that one as well, going through quickly, like literally like running through, getting these like the ×1 aesthetic shots, picking asymmetrical angles, picking that throughout the home. And then at the end of the day, whether we get through them all or not in this time frame, is just gonna be some of those hooks. So I might go through and just at minimum, first get 1. So 1 for the verbal hook, and then 1, let's see, depending how simple, again, there were like 1, 2, 3 lines at most. And then 1 for the voiceover. And then at least, again, you can create probably 5 different types of content with just the footage and music. Those you can always have, like, again, these different styles of videos like this with text hooks, music throughout it. And then the trend hook. So again, at minimum in the next, how long did you say we had till 12?
11:30.
11:30?
Yeah.
So in the next hour and 15 minutes, we should be able to get a minimum of guaranteed 5, 6, 8 videos.
Cool.
Not 7. Exactly. So that's the document that I want to go over where generally, like, I pretty much knew and did the research of like who's, and we've talked about it before about who's going to be in this home. But that's why you want to get some of these answers, like know who this home is actually for, not fitting your ideal client in the home, like who you like think is your ICP, and then knowing what they want to focus on, which is going to be views, primary. There's one I didn't go over, which is called a prompt home tour. That's another one we can use where We might have the prompt on the screen for the tour focused on some of the amenities, but also the backyard. That's going to be one that's like built for ICP, which we're going to kind of build their lifestyle in a prompt that's going to be on the screen the whole time. It's going to say, you know, either the city or, again, for us, we could still use Blackhawk, CA with a little pin emoji, ones that have worked already out here. So that's why I think ultimately first is we can get changed. Let's film these verbal hooks, because we can speed through and get probably all the video footage itself in 20 minutes.
Okay.
But again, now it's just like the actual hooks themselves where they're short, but again, it might take 1, 2, 3 tries to get down at the end of the day. So, but that's going to be this, and we will see you guys in the next video for actually showing you guys how we're filming it.